Hi everyone, welcome to Games of the Week for the 5th of September, and it's been a while, so I am going to try and go through all of this business as quick as I can. So first, videos while I have been away. There was Oh My Goods, which is a lovely little card game about building buildings, production factories and things, and basically trading up resources from things that are worth nothing to things that are worth a lot of points. It's a fantastic game, a lot of game in a tiny little card game box. There was Scythe, the fantastic Scythe, the Automa version, which is the solo version where you're playing against a deck of cards that works beautifully, like in all of Stonemeyer's Automa systems. It's fantastic, and I've only played the solo version of Scythe. I'm looking forward to playing the normal versions now that I'm back. But the solo videos are up there to try. There are some movement errors in the video. They have been noted by people in the comments, but I think the main thing to keep track of is that the Automa can place on lake hexes, whereas normally nobody can do that, but that's something that the Automa can do, and I forgot that. There's Sanssouci, which is a great little tile laying game about building gardens and making nobles see as much of the gardens as they can, and the solo variant is probably as simple as it gets for solo variants. You roll a d10, take a tile away, and then do your turn again. I think the video is about 15 minutes long with me explaining the game, which is quite simple to explain as well. There's Kanban, that's a big game from Vital Lacerda, where you are making cars in a factory and testing designs and things, all sorts of things that mesh together amazingly well, as in all of his games. It's a meatier game, it's a heavier game, but a really fantastic one, and I'm using a solo variant that was made by a Board Game Geek user, Dale Bonacore, if I'm remembering that right. And he made a great little game, the solo version, that just uses a d6 to simulate some actions of a player that would tighten up the board a little bit for you. There's Roman Poker, and that's a little dice game where the numbers on the dice are Roman numerals, and you want to roll the biggest number that you can without busting, and you bust as soon as you roll a Roman numeral that doesn't exist. So if you roll two V's on a dice, you bust, that doesn't exist, that would be an X, and it's a great little filler game. There's the King's Abbey, that's a great big game of resource management, building buildings, training your peasants to be baptized so they can work in the buildings, all sorts of things going on at once, and some parts of it feel like kind of a best of Euro games that you've played before, but it's a really good game, and I played the solo variant of that. Then, from the games that I picked up in America, there was Rolling America, and in that everybody gets a character sheet with the different states on it, and we are rolling dice and placing the numbers that are rolled on those dice in particular states. And the trick is that neighbouring states can only have numbers that differ by 1, so a 3 can only have a 2, 3 or 4 next to it. So quickly you begin to kind of paint yourself into a corner if you're anything like me and find that you can't place any numbers anywhere. But the aim is to place as many as you can, or more than anyone else anyway. And finally, yesterday, there was the Gallerist, which is another Vital Lacerda game, another big game where we are trying to run a gallery. We're wheeling and dealing, buying and selling art, we're displaying it in our gallery, we are getting tiles in the international market to give us points at the end of the game, all sorts of things that work together beautifully. It's another game I really love, and it comes with a solo variant that's really simple. It's just moving one piece each turn, and the solo player doesn't really have any upkeep apart from when he goes to one action, but it's a fantastic game, a great solo version, and I really recommend the Gallerist. So on to channel news. I mentioned at the end of the last Games of the Week that I was going on holiday, so things might be a little slower for a couple of weeks, and it's basically I couldn't do Games of the Week like I thought I wouldn't be able to do. There wasn't internet to be able to do that, and there were no reviews on the playthroughs just because there was no time to do anything else. I did about 3 weeks of playthroughs in the last week and a half before I went on holiday, and I should not have done that. I should probably have just the channel should probably have taken a week's break or something instead of trying to do that many in that short space of time, because it was very hectic when I should have been getting ready for the holiday. But it's all over now, and I think the playthroughs are good that we're up in those 2 weeks. The Essen preview is coming up. So everything will be back to normal. The Games of the Week will be on Mondays and things, but the Essen preview will be an extra thing. And Essen is on the 13th of October, so 5 weeks is that? It's quite soon anyway. So in a couple of weeks I'll have that ready, which is quite a big job because if you're interested, you can see Eric Martin's amazing, huge Essen preview that he does every year. And as always, there are a ton of games that I'm interested in, and hopefully we can see what the best of those are. So a couple of people have mentioned requests. If you do want me to cover a game, I know it's not quite clear what games I've got, but if you're interested in anything, just let me know. Put it in a comment or a message or on Board Game Geek or whatever, and I've got a list going of what the requested games are. A lot of the ones that are planned or have been in the last couple of weeks have been requested games, so I am listening, and I'll make a geek list at some point to try and make it easier to see what people want to see. And the last thing I wanted to say is, I wrote here nearly 500 subscribers when I wrote this, but we've gone past 500 subscribers now, which is amazing. I remember the first Games of the Week that I did, which was about 3 months into the channel, and I was celebrating 100 subscribers, and now 5 weeks after that, we're at 500. That's crazy. And it's thanks to great things like the Mansions of Madness videos, the Scythe videos, the One Player Guild on Board Game Geek found the channel, and it's just fantastic. Thanks to anyone who watches or subscribes or whatever. It's great, and I will try and keep up the playthroughs. It's 2 a week, one on Sunday and one on Wednesday. So upcoming games, and the first game is one that I've got a bit more information than normal about, and I've got some pictures as well. So it's from Board and Dice, who made Dice Brewing, which is a great little game, and Multi-Universum, that I haven't actually played myself, but the art looks gorgeous. And this is Beer Empire, a bigger game, and in it we are brewing beer. There are 4 main types of beer, and in those types there's a lot of different things. There's aroma, taste and colour, and customizing the things involved in these attributes can really give you freedom to make your own types of beer. There is a popular beer every once in a while, but you don't have to go for that. There will be markets with different customer needs, and you can satisfy them to get points, but you can also, if you want to go your own way and make some niche beer or something, then you can go to the beer festival and impress the critics, where you can get points and prizes, and those prizes will help you in your production and to make better beer in the future. So there's a lot going on. It sounds like there's a lot of variability and strategy in what I've seen from the one page so far, and I'm looking forward to hearing more. The next page will cover how the workers work, how your schedule works. You've got some kind of schedule where you're going to place people that can do certain actions. So looking forward to hearing more about that. It's going to be a Kickstarter in the second half of the month. So that's something exciting that's coming up. Next is Railroad Revolution, which is a fast-paced game. Manage a railroad company building across America, which sounds like a ton of board games, but this is the new What's Your Game. And What's Your Game have made some fantastic things in the past. They're just out of shot here, but Signori, Zangwo, Vinos, Vasco da Gama, Madeira, all sorts of amazing games. And this is from Marco Canetta and Stefania Nicolini, who are the designers of Zangwo, which was fantastic, and really looking forward to anything new from them. There's First Class, which is apparently a card game that feels like a board game because it's got a modular setup. It's got 5 modules included, I think, and you'll use a certain number of those each game. And so, in theory, the game will be very different each time you play it. You score fame points by building a rich network of rails, which again sounds like a lot of things, but this is from Helmut Ochli. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And he is the co-designer of Russian Railroads, an amazing game, and the designer of Kanban, which we really enjoy. It's a smaller 2-player card game, and so anything from him, really looking forward to. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but Port Royal Unterwegs? It's a standalone stripped-down sequel to Port Royal, but some of the elements of it can be used as an expansion for the main Port Royal game, so that sounds interesting. There's Dice Drivin, which is a fun little racing game. The track's made up of cards, and it's got all of these customized dice that have different powers, but basically you can trade up to use dice that will give you much more powerful effects and get you around the track a lot faster, but they hold a lot more risk. If you roll certain faces and roll too many disaster symbols, then terrible things can happen, up to, if you're entirely reckless, then your car can just explode and you're out of the race. But it sounds like a really fun little race game. There's Motion Pictures, Movies Out of Cardboard, which I meant to mention last time. I noticed that I missed this off the list, but it's a card game with set collection and deck building elements. Sounds like something I'd enjoy, and the theme is really exciting as well. Managing a movie studio, hiring the filmmakers and making the films and things. Really interested in that. And it's from Draw Lab, who I think they're on camera. They are involved in Project Elite. I think they made the miniatures, but I love Project Elite, so I'm definitely looking forward to anything coming up from them. There is Midnight Legion, finally, Operation Deep Sleep, And this is a game I found out about. It was a Kickstarter a while ago, maybe even a year ago, and I only found out about it recently. It's a choose-your-own adventure book, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's got puzzles, it's got character sheets, it's got dice, it's got role-playing, you can play the game stealthily. It sounds really interesting. And in the game, the story is you wake in an underground facility with no memories, apart from you are an agent of an ancient group. And you've been woken from stasis after hundreds of years, and that's all you remember. You don't remember your mission, you don't remember who you are, really. And so the aim of the game will be to find out who you are. And it's got a separate book with memories in, and doing certain things in the game will refer you to this other book that's got your memories in it, and you'll try and find out who you are. That really sounds exciting. It reminds me of a video game called Lost Odyssey, which was fantastic in itself. But that's rambling. So this is the end of Games of the Week for this week. There's more to cover, but I thought that some of it would be old news since I haven't done one of these for a few weeks. So I think I'll leave it there for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye.